I need to talk about the goddamn Shantae lore, man. I've I replayed all the games a couple of months back, and I couldn't help but notice shit. I couldn't help but notice some devious junk going down behind the scenes when if you're not really paying attention, you won't notice just how dark this shit really is when you really start to think about it. Like, okay, let me start from the beginning, okay? Like, so this series takes place generally in like this place called Sequinland, right? Yeah, and you have Shantae here, the protagonist. She's guardian genie of Scuttletown, which is like on the coastal side of the region. Yeah, okay. Now she'd be going on like adventures and stuff, usually stopping some ne'er-do-wells and such. Usually the self-proclaimed Queen of the Seven Seas Risky Boots, you know, that lady pirate over there. She'd usually be fighting her and like stopping her schemes and shit. Yeah? And that's all fine and dandy. You know, plenty of adventures, going across the land, maybe goes to some new places on rare occasion. Lots of allies here and there. You know, Sky, Bolo, whatnot. Now, there are like some key events that happen throughout these games. Of course, you got the first game, which is sort of like the introduction to like who the characters are and what's going on, how she meets Roddy Tops for the first time, and all that. That's all good. You know, stopping Risky from using the steam engine to take over the world, using those magic slabs and whatever. Now, I haven't played Risky Revolution, so I don't know how much it contributes to what I'm about to talk about here, but I would assume it probably adds at least a little to what's going on in terms of like the broader scope of how crazy things really are when you really stop to think about it. But we move on to like other games like Risky's Revenge and Pirate's Curse, Half Genie Hero, and Seven Sirens, and we see all these different events unfold from like the whole deal with like the lamp and the pirate master and like this whole deal with like the genie realm and stuff with like the undead and of course the sirens and like their whole deal. Lots to go over, right? But one of the major plot points that really kind of gets my mind racing is like the whole deal with the genies. Yeah? Now, here's the thing. Apparently, all the genies in the land, they used to be like a common thing. They used to be all over the place. They were like super powerful. They would do all kinds of stuff. Usually stopping all kinds of evil stuff that be popping up and whatever, because a lot of them are like straight up good guys. Yeah. In the present storyline, they are all gone. There ain't no genies out here no more. It's just like the half genie daughters left behind. Because something happened to all the full-blood genies. Right? So, we basically just see like no genies in the mortal plane no more. Except for like the dungeons in the first game where like they were like trapped in those dungeons and you basically rescue them. And presumably they just go right back to the genie realm once you free them. Any other entry in the series, the only time we see genies is if we're actually like in the genie realm or something. Otherwise, you ain't seeing no genies out here. And there's a big question, like, why is that? Right? We learned that there was like some crazy stuff that unfolded back in the day, back when all these half genie girls were like just babies and shit, or at least very young. And because of these events that transpired, all the genies had to like leave to the genie realm for one reason or another. Presumably because like their own powers being used against them, where they had to like sacrifice their physical form or whatever the heck it was. There seems to be like layers to what's going on here. We don't get like the full down low on what happened, but we can kind of piece things together. Because there's like implications, okay? Like, some of them don't have physical forms no more. Some of them just straight up leave because of like a danger factor. Like, let me just start with like the Siren Queen, for example, right? The Siren Queen from Seven Sirens. Her and the mother of Harmony, the eldest half genie, there's like a whole story with them, right? We actually hear this explanation from, well, Harmony's mom, who's a ghost because she died. she, like, to make a long story short, she basically explains that, like, she, along with other genies, were, like, fighting against the sirens and stopping them from, like, attacking the people and such, because they're, like, straight up taking up people's life essence as sustenance and shit, you know, bad juju all around. Which would explain why, like, the leader of Tree Town has, like, a key to keep that entrance to that part of the underground locked. Like, apparently they had that place locked down for, like, generations, but, like, monsters still find their way up, but, like, apparently the genies were fighting them and managed to, like, get all the sirens, at least. Or at least most of them, because they see some of them in the dungeon. Like, sealed away at the very bottom of this whole underground city thing, like, at the sea floor. And apparently, Harmony's mom was the one that stayed behind, was locked behind that door and confronted the Siren Queen herself. And died fighting her. Probably, like, eaten alive or some shit. But she cursed the Siren Queen so that she could only feed off the life essence of genies. And since there's no more genies for her to eat while she's trapped down there, she kind of just shriveled up into a prune and shit and can't do nothing. Right? So that's one problem though. The Siren Queen is sealed away. The rest of the sirens are like deep in the depths of their own individual dungeons. The main ones anyway. The majority of the siren race is like trapped in the sealed off area with the queen. That's like one problem dealt with. Like the dangers of the sirens and all that. But then we get into like these other environments that I've noticed throughout these games, right? First off, the freaking bogs. First there's this bog area in the first game that's like right next to Oasis Town. Like between Oasis Town and the mountain range, there's just this dark, messed up looking bog area that looks like it should have been like a populated area, like a port town or something, because there's lots of docks around here and stuff, boardwalks and whatever. Seems like it was a port town at one point, but now it's just ruins with these weird bulbous pod like shape on the side of these pillars holding giant bug carcasses. And I'm sitting here wondering, like, what the hell kind of events had to transpire for giant bug carcasses to be perched up on the top of these freaking pillars? What kind of crazy ass events have transpired upon this forsaken land with all these goo monsters coming out of the walls and the ceilings and out of the water, trying to jump you and dash at you and claw at you and rip you apart and shit? Where the hell did all this come from? What the heck happened in this place? And then we go to the Bog Island in Pirate's Curse, where the whole island is nothing but that shit, and it gets darker and drearier and more creepy and more eldritch fleshy and shit the deeper you go, until you get to the center, where there's this skeleton, this one-eyed skeleton looking motherfucker with mandibles like he's a bug, guarding the entrance to some sort of like land of lost souls type shit, like a fire and brimstone hellscape full of nagas and archer ladies and the souls of people who died. Like, you find Roddy Top's soul in there, you find the souls of the 3 gambler guys from the lizard minigame in the first game in there, and you find this shadowy manly figure who, let's be honest, it's probably Shantae's dad. We find all these people in this place. Why are all these souls in a specific location, located in the center of this fully bogged up island with all these more giant bug carcasses on the floor and more of these slime monsters coming up on the walls, jumping up on the ceilings and shit, clawing at you from every goddamn angle? Makes you wonder, is there like a connection here between these two bog areas? Is there like a reason why these two areas are like this? And this one guy guarding the door, he mentions that the master will be displeased if all these souls escape. Who's this master he's talking about? Wonder who that could be. Who else in this series is referred to as a master, huh? You know what I'm getting at. It's the goddamn pirate master. Before I even get to that though, let's talk about the zombies and the dark magic. Have you not ever wondered why there's so many forms of undead in this series? Like, think about it. We have zombies, we have ghosts, we have these lich-looking motherfuckers, we got the Hypno Baron who looks like a skeleton in a robe. I'm just saying, we got a suspicious amount of undead people in this mothersuck. And what do you know? The Pirate Master, when he comes back, he is also a skeleton with lots of this weird purpley goop stuff on his person, much like that purpley goop stuff that we see in all the bog areas. Now, I'm not saying there's a connection here between him and these particular areas and that maybe he might have been the cause of it, but let's be real, he probably was. I mean, the Pirate Master was apparently so powerful, so deadly, so goddamn dangerous that it took the entire goddamn genie race to stop this man. What the hell kind of eldritch horrific power shit was he working with to be so much of a threat? You need the whole goddamn genie race on his ass to make sure that everything doesn't go to shit. I bet money he caused these bog areas with all these creepy ass monsters and shit. It's just, it has to be. It can't just be a coincidence, right? Look, if the color schemes match, the recurrent theme of dark magic and like undead shit lines up. Like, yeah, sure, we don't see zombies in the bog areas, but it's funny how they keep showing up in like swampy areas that are close enough, almost as if there's like a connection there of just like murky locations and the undead. I mean, heck, when this man shows up in like the end of the game, and like you have to fight him at the the final boss fight, you go to the Sultana's palace, right? And the further you go up the tower, the more the place gets covered up with all this fleshy walls and tentacle goop and eyeballs and shit, which look suspiciously similar to the bog areas that I mentioned earlier. I'm telling you, there's a connection here. He's using some dark magic shit to like transmogrify the land into a eldritch horrorscape. This man's fucking with some black magic for real. Like the really serious dangerous shit. This is why the genies had to be on his ass. I feel it in my freaking bones, man. This Pirate Master was on some serious shit. Man was dangerous. They had to go all in to stop him. And we know that, like, the genies were on his ass because, like, Risky used to work for him, right? And it's because of this that she actually met Shantae's mom and actually knew what she was like. That's why she was able to tell Shantae at the end of Pirate's Curse that, yeah, you're just like your mom, just shorter and more annoying. She said that shit. So she knows what it was like back in the day. She knew what the Pirate Master was up to. That's why she didn't want his ass coming back. Because she knows her boss was way too dangerous even for her. That is wild, man. The main villain of the series don't want you coming back. That's how dangerous you are. This freaking Pirate Master, man. I wouldn't be surprised if this black magic is like... Because, you know, Risky, she seems to have ties to the dark magic as well. She's able to use the dark magic to power herself up in Half Genie Hero. She... For all we know, the Tinkerbat minions are probably made with that stuff as well. That would probably explain their appearance. They look like pitch black skin, like very scrawny looking, like they could be undead for all we know. I mean, look at them. They don't exactly look like the normal, healthy, living creatures like most of the other monsters in this franchise are. I even saw in Mihara the Fox video the other day. She was originally going to be an undead, but then they split her into two characters, her and Roddy. So yeah, Risky, she's old enough to have been involved in the conflicts between the Pirate Master and the genies. So she probably fought genies back in the day. It's kind of crazy to think about. Of course, she's in charge of all the Tinkerbats now. So she still has some ties to that dark magic. Kind of makes you wonder Like, is it a corruption thing, or is it just an active choice type of situation? Like, does she actively choose the dark path? Maybe. We don't know for sure. Like, Shantae keeps trying to, like, convince her, hey, come to the good guy side, and she's like, no. I'm about that pirate life. I'm not. It's like, yeah, that's kind of just how it goes with her. But then we get into, like, the nitty-gritty of, like, what the heck were, like, the pirate master and his minions, like, doing to, like, actually, like, be a legitimate threat that even the genies were like, yeah, we need to lock in and deal with this man expeditiously. Because clearly, there was some stuff going on. Because, like, when we get to Risky's revenge, right? And Mimic ends up accidentally unearthing a magic lamp. Like, his reaction is, like, immediate, like, oh shit, oh fuck, not this again. Like, he knows what this thing can do. He's had personal history with this thing. Because, like, he knew Shantae's mother personally. And even, like, made a promise to her, like, not to tell Shantae about this stuff because of how dangerous it was and how these lamps caused problems for genies back in the day. Because, you know, it's genies, magic lamps, you kind of know where that shit's going. No. Use it to control the genies and make them do what you want them to do. I can see where they're going with that and why Risky would want to use this thing. Because, like, she's probably seen it before. She's probably used it before. She knows what it does. But since there's no full genies around, like, seal them into anymore, maybe she could use it to, say, steal all the magic from the half genie that's always trying to stop her. Yeah, that's probably what the plan was. And of course she does that, takes Shantae's powers, creates an evil double over with it, she stops it. The dark magic gets dispersed and corrupts the Tinkerbats and the Cacklebats. You know the story if you play Pirate's Curse. She gathers it, all that magic back, converts it back into light magic and gets her genie powers back. That's kind of like the long and short of it. And it does kind of beg the question, like, how many of these magic lamps were there? How often were they being used to force genies to do shit against their own will? These must have been like a dangerous ass weapon. For all we know, the Pirate Master was probably like abusing the shit out of that. Maybe he straight up used it to steal magic power from the genies to make himself stronger, for all we know. I wouldn't rule out the possibility. He seems like the type that would do that. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sirens tried that shit too. Damn. It also kind of begs the question as to how some genies were imprisoned in those dungeons in the first game in the first place. Like, what would one have to do to trap a genie in a dungeon and make them unable to leave? Because mind you, there's like 4 of them trapped in those dungeons. Like, they had no means of getting out. Shantae had to get them out herself. It's like, what was happening there? What trapped them in there? What made them stuck? I wouldn't be surprised if magic lamps are involved in some way. It seems probable. And when you think about it, Risky's whole plan with the Dynamo and Half Genie Hero was basically just taking the whole magic lamp idea and just expanding that to a machine that can transform the entire genie realm to evil all at once instead of just one genie at a time. She basically just expanded on that shit. Like, for real, holy damn. That's devious. And with all that said, let's get into the whole situation with Shantae's parents. Because, like, let's be real, that manly, shadowy figure we see in that Land of Lost Souls type area, let's just be so real right now, that's totally her dad. It has to be her dad. Like, who else could it be? He even mentions, like, how he had a daughter, but he hasn't seen her in forever. Like, that's pretty on the nose, I feel. Clearly that's her father. Now, did he just wander in there one day and didn't know how to get out? Did he actually die and that's why he's in there? Who knows? Could go either way for all we know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. There was like a whole, considering that the genie that he had a daughter with was involved in a major conflict with the pirate master. I wouldn't be surprised if he was part of that conflict as well. Maybe he was like up in that fight to help to help this lady he loves fight off this major threat. Because, come on, look at him. Does he not look like a man who would be willing to punch a dreaded pirate lord in the face to protect his family? He looks like the type. I can see it. Totally. And on the note of protecting the woman he loves, let's talk about that one messenger genie spirit that shows up in Half Genie Hero warning Shantae about like the great evil threat that's coming up in that game. That's totally her freaking mom. It has to be. Sure, it could just be a random genie that's being the messenger and relaying information to Shantae from the genie realm, but why wouldn't it just be her mom? Why wouldn't she like actively choose to do that herself but not like actively admit that it's actually her for the sake of maybe not like overcomplicating things? Cause like, let's be real. If she straight up just told Shantae, I'm your mom, you know that there'd be like some conversations that need to be had. She would have so many freaking questions. She want to know so much about like what happened to her personally and shit, because like she never got to know her mom, because she was basically a baby when the genies had to deal with the pirate master and all had to go away. She even said so in like the final boss fight. Like pirate master was like, "Oh, which one was your mom? Was it the fire spouting hothead or the songbird?" And she's like, "I don't know. I never got to know her because of you." It's like, I imagine like she feel a type of way about it, going off of that answer. So yeah, I personally feel that messenger was totally her mom. It had to be. Like, it would just be too goddamn fitting for it to actually be her mom. Just, she meets these mysterious strangers, and it ends up being both her parents. Her father doesn't realize it's his daughter, and the mother's just afraid of like actually telling the whole truth because of the complicated feelings of not being there for your daughter's upbringing because of the circumstances surrounding you not being able to be in the mortal plane anymore. Be like some serious emotional shit going on, which would probably clash with like the overall tone of the story, because you know this series likes to play up its comedy and like kind of have its little suggestive jokes and such. It tries to be a bit more lighthearted, not being too serious and edgy. Like, you're here to play a fun game. We're not trying to be too serious. We're not trying to, you know, go a bit too ham on the drama. It's like, fair enough. But the dark implications are still there. Like, we're still playing as a half genie trying to, like, save the world from evil threats and shit. So there's just gonna be, like, a bit of seriousness in there. There's gotta be some stakes. It can't just be all goofs all the time. All goofs and girls in bikinis. Anyways. Let's talk about, like, since we're already on the, like, the whole topic of Shantae's parents, let's get to like the other half genie's parents. Like, first off, like I already mentioned before, Harmony's mom friggin' died. She's a ghost. All the way down at the bottom of the sunken city, at the bottom of the map, on Siren Island. And it's kind of funny that like she never actually talks to her own daughter directly. You'd think that like should at least try, or I mean, there was this one part where Harmony was hearing some voices and was like following them somewhere, but she ended up going like higher up into like the mining area, while her mom's all the way like at the bottom where the sealed off area is. It's like two totally different parts of the map. So I don't know what those voices of were that she was chasing, but maybe it wasn't her mom. Maybe it was something else. Because that's where like the parts to that power rod thing was. So maybe she was like trying to find that. I don't know. Still, it kind of begs the question, you know, like, did all the half genies just grow up without a real family? Because like, at least the whole family. Because like, yeah, their moms aren't here for obvious reasons. The whole genie situation. But then there's like the factor of their dads. Like Shantae's dad, he's either lost or just straight up dead, and that's why he's in that land of lost souls. Then there's like all the other half genies. Like yeah, all of them grew up without moms. Like some of them grow up without dads too, or some of them just straight up orphans. Like where's Plink's dad? Where's Zappel's dad? We see Vera's dad. He's the leader of Tree Town. But that's about it. We don't really see much in terms of like the rest of their parents. No idea where Harmony's dad is either. Yeah, that's like what, 3 out of 5 dads that are just completely MIA. We know the moms ain't here, but like it's crazy how we don't really see dads much either, outside of just one who might be dead and one who's alive at least. So hey, at least Vera's a bit more well off than the others in that regard, I suppose. And you gotta wonder like how they feel about it too, because like yeah, I'd imagine that Vera's dad might feel a type of way about the fact that his supposed wife is not with them anymore, either in another realm or even possibly dead, because like I wouldn't be surprised if some of the genies were casualties of that conflict with the Pirate Master. Who knows? Some of them could have died fighting him. I'm not saying it has to be Vera's mom in particular, but I could see it being probable. Because, let's be honest, like, when do we ever get protagonists that have, like, both parents in a good situation? Almost never. I almost kind of wonder, like, how are their family situations? Like do the rest of them really have dads out there somewhere? Like, are they present in their lives? Are they absentee? Are they just plain dead? Or are they orphans and were raised by other people? I mean, Shantae was raised by Mimic, apparently. Now, some speculate that like Mimic's not really blood related to Shantae at all, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like he could be related to her dad. Maybe. If not, I mean, he was still there for either way. Like, Shantae's mom trusted enough to like take care of her, so that's gotta count for something, right? Now, here's what I want to talk about, like some other magical stuff though. Is like in this world, we see all kinds of crazy creatures and stuff. Like right now, like I'm whipping the shit out of this scorpion centaur woman. There's like male counterparts of this too. There's like nagas. There's like what, the slime monster things. There's the bird people that crash the fuck out the second you even go near them. Werewolf dudes, these frog looking things, some dragons and shit. All kinds of creatures in this world. Many of which are like straight up mythical creatures or like monsters or some kind, like, or cryptids or whatever the fuck. Hey, there's even like mermaids. Hachini Hero had like a giant mermaid boss even. Like there are just all kinds of creatures out here. Pretty sure there's a golem boss in the first game too. So you see all kinds of creatures of all shapes and sizes. Not only that, there's also like other magical items and stuff. Like, remember all those magic carpets in Half Genie Hero? Ammleberry even like takes the threads from those and makes clothes that makes them fly. Ain't that wild? So clearly, this world is very full of magic. Question is, like, how much of it is just naturally occurring, or like how much was it from the genies doing stuff? Because like the genies can clearly do all kinds of things. One prime example is at the end of Pirate's Curse, Shantae's able to use her magic to restore Scuttletown back to normal after it was changed by Ammo Baron, for one. Like, we see, like, even in this game alone, like, just the fusion stones and fusion coins that allow for, like, instant transformation instead of, like, the whole dance sequence that Shantae normally does. There's even, like, genie magic that allows them to do certain things, like, say, see the unseen, or heal bodies and make plants grow, freaking electrical and earthquake attacks and stuff. Pretty sure there's like an obliterate spell in Half Genie Hero as well. And that's all on top of like the existing animal transformation that's like a constant throughout the series. They're originally going to be summoned, you know. Imagine genies summoning various animals to their aid. That was a thing that they planned originally, before changing it to transformations. Think Maria Renard from Castlevania. There's just so much to think about when it comes to like this world and the implications of its lore. I just really wanted to talk about like the darker implications behind like some of the stuff going on out here when you really start paying attention, like this dark, gloomy purple stuff in these bogs on the Pirate Master's appearance and the connections with the undead, and it just seems like there's some serious dark juju going on, and I feel like there's a real possibility that it could have ties to like some seriously dangerous shit that could come into the future. Because who knows, maybe the Pirate Master got this dark magical power from something even more dangerous than him. And who knows how the hell Shantae's supposed to deal with that in the future. I can totally see it. I wouldn't rule out the possibility. It is totally possible. We could get an even bigger bad at the end of all this. Not in the same like series ending anytime soon, but like I could totally see like all these dark aspects having some level of connection to some sort of bigger, darker threat that can spell like the end of everything if it's not stopped or whatever. It's a possibility. It's a storyline they could totally do in the future. I can see it. Probably would make a pretty fun game, no? And how it just ties it all together narratively, just all these dark aspects that are kind of just there in the background if you really start paying attention. But yeah, that's kind of just my whole theory on like the potential of just how dark this series can really get when you really start paying attention to like some of the background elements. Because like that freaking bog area, man, that stuff has been on my mind ever since I first saw it when I first played the first game back in like 2016. Which, yeah, I did through emulate. I don't have the money to buy a Game Boy Color cartridge that is that much goddamn money. You know I was emulating it back then. Sure, I could play it legal. I could play it through like regular means now because it's actually on PS4. But, jeez, I did not have that option back in 2016. Okay, but like that one area always stood out to me, and I always start when I was like immediately wondering like, why is it like this? And it didn't even start clicking with me until like just a couple of days ago. Hey, Pirate Master got the same creepy ass dark aesthetics. This one island that apparently he has control over because he has this one minion guy running the place there. It has a particular aesthetic just like that bog area. When he takes over the Sultana's palace, the top of it is full of similarly eldritch, dark, fleshy shit, just like the bog areas. It seems like it's all connecting. It feels like there's a recurring theme here about dark, purple, fleshy shit with eyeballs that looks creepy as fuck and is probably super dangerous. And has like ties to dark magic, and that's why you're getting shit like potentially a bigger bad that has like dark magical powers as well. I'm calling it now. There totally has to be like some big bad dark magic type shit that'll happen in the future. It just has to be. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really wanted to say on the matter. Just this has been on the back of my mind for a minute after replaying the whole series, minus Risk Revolution, because I haven't bought that one yet. Maybe I'll learn more from playing that one. Who knows? Maybe not. It's kind of, it can go either way. It's kind of just up in the air. Something that is kind of funny though. It's like Bolo mentioning like his grandma's eyes at the start of that clip from earlier. I don't know what that's about. Maybe his grandma becomes relevant in Risk Revolution. I don't know. It kind of makes you wonder. Because like, yeah, we see like the importance of like Shantae's parentage, but who knows? Maybe there's something important with like her allies, like families as well. Maybe Bolo's family had done some important shit. Maybe Sky's family done some important shit. That's just that's just pure speculation on my end. I don't even have any evidence to work off of on that, but I wouldn't rule out the possibility. Anyways, I'm gonna just cut it off here and kind of get back to like some other stuff I'm working on. So later. Wait, I just realized while rendering, if it ends up being Cthulhu and Squid Baron is related to him somehow this whole time, I'm gonna flip my shit, because that means that we expended Shantae's health points all this time with the eldritch tentacles of them heart squids and shit. Oh nah. They would totally write some kind of joke with this too. Dude. Next thing you know, the Necronomicon itself is gonna be used as a door stopper or something. They totally freaking would.